All right, y'all, so I just saw Jurassic World Rebirth. That's right, the July 2025 one. I've got some thoughts. Now, this is going to be top to bottom. First is spoiler-free, then we're going for the deep dive. Okay, so let's talk about that spoiler-free summary, the beginning parts of this and whatnot, okay? So I will make it very obvious when we get to the spoiler section, don't worry. Now, 5 years after Dominion, this is when, dinos are basically kind of old news to us humans, right? So we have another high-stakes mission, as we always do in these. Now, it's led by Zora, who's played by Scarlett Johansson. She does an amazing job. We also have Captain Duncan. This is by Mahershala Ali, I hope I'm saying their name right, and the paleontologist Loomis, who is Jonathan Bailey. They all do amazing jobs. We'll get more into their performances here in a little bit. Now, what they end up doing is, of course, they're hunting they're hunting something. I'll just leave it at that, okay? For a very specific reason, for a cure for something. Kind of the same thing that we see take place with Jurassic Park. There's a reason to get them to the island for something, right? But of course, chaos is always going to ensue. Nature finds a way. I love that line from there. But it's giving classic sci-fi thriller adventure, Spielberg vibes, all that nostalgia. Okay, so let's talk about a few things that work for it. Number one, the dinosaurs, right? That's why we're coming to see this. Okay, so for me, I grew up when this was, Jurassic Park first came out. I will stand by that those are the best ones. The originals are the best ones. The dinosaurs from those, they're more realistic. However, working with what we got, CGI, all that kind of stuff, whatever we do these days, they're still great, okay? So there's that. You've got your typical dino chases, all that big summer blockbuster vibe is there, and they do it well. Now let's talk about some of those performances. Johansson outplays, right? Bailey, very steamy, those cute little glasses he's wearing, they're all very attractive actors and actresses, right? We're talking major leading lady, leading man vibes going on here, okay? Now, I will say this, do some of the characters, even though they're played very well, seem kind of cardboard, cut out like, hi, I'm the lead. Absolutely, right? Was I coming to this movie to expect anything more than that? No, okay? I'm not looking for Academy Award winning in this. I'm looking for big movements, crashing, dinosaurs, that kind of stuff. So for that way, Scarlett Johansson plays, right? She's done so many amazing things. The tension in this is amazing. The homages that are in there, amazing. Now, here's just a couple of things that didn't work. I already mentioned one of them, the kind of just flimsy characters, right? The plot is a little bit too much. Okay, there's a lot going on now. And one way I appreciate that, because when everyone has a motive and everyone has a story, you're kind of left like, oh, it creates that thing, right? We don't want nothing going on. However, it does just feel like they tried to cram a little bit too much into this. Also, I will say with these characters, like personally, I don't ever think we'll see them again, nor I wouldn't care if I saw them again. For me, gone are the days of that, the connection that you felt to the original cast, those original kids, that just isn't really there. And that's not to say that I didn't feel that with these, the kids and all the people who were in this one. But you didn't really get that deep connection that you did, say, in comparison with the first one. I know it's wrong of me to compare it in that way, but it is what it is. But regardless, they all did a great job. Now, you also always in the Jurassic Parks have a villain. I won't go into too many details in the spoiler-free section, but I'll just say it's definitely kind of like very cliche, okay? Does it work? Yes. Do I expect that in the movie? 100%. I went in there watching like, who's gonna be the villain, right? Oh, okay, him. You know what I'm saying? There is like a little bit of a, let's maybe call it a gimmick with this one. Again, I'm not gonna go deep into it right now, but it's with the dinosaurs. And it felt a little bit like, you could be venturing into like, what are we doing here territory? But for me, they didn't go there completely. Okay, so as far as non-spoilers go, you heard it there. Do I suggest it? Yes. Can you see it in a theater if you want, like if you're able to? 100% you need to, right? This is a big screen kind of movie, but granted, if you can't get to the theater, it's worth watching at home. I went into this with a negative expectation. I was like, I heard people talking about this isn't even seem like a Jurassic Park movie, so on and so forth. So I went in like that, and I was very, pleasantly surprised. Okay, and we'll get more into that here in a second when we get now into the spoiler section. So if you do not want to have the movie ruined or any of that, you're going to want to click off of this video now. So on the count of 3, we will be in spoiler section. So 1, 2, and 3. Okay, now that everybody's gone, let's really get, let's break it down here, y'all. Okay, here we go now. Okay, so at this point in this whole franchise, like I said, there was this whole thing of like, oh, this isn't like the other ones or whatever, and there was a departure from those characters. It makes sense because you can only drag that storyline out for so long, and they kind of had to just break away from it, right? So this is like taking place way later. So like people, as you can imagine, we've seen it all. We're just like, dinosaurs, whatever. Like there's one that like got out and it's kind of stuck in New York City traffic. It is what it is. They're just very normal to us. But of course, there's all these islands off of here that this sinister work was being done, and we have to somehow convince people to go out there and get something. So in this one, what it is your greedy pharmaceutical person who's like, we're gonna go and get this like stuff from these mutant dinosaurs, and we're gonna cure heart disease. We're gonna go get a Scarlett Johansson who she's kind of like lives on the fringe, and we'll throw some money in front of her, and that'll convince her to go. Because again, I was just like, at this point in time, as a viewer, you're gonna have to absolutely give me a good reason how you can convince anybody to go there, right? Period, end of story. Everybody knows what's gonna happen, and even greed isn't that much of a motivating factor. At the end of the day, it's a movie, it's a Hollywood blockbuster, so we know that they're going to get to the island, or else we wouldn't be sitting here even talking about this, right? Okay, now, that being said, this whole mutant dinosaur thing, okay, now, I'm getting ready to major spoiler alert something, so I'm just letting you know again. Y'all, there's this one scene like towards the very end where literally I was like, this dinosaur to me looks like the Predator. Okay, I was just like, please tell me we're not going there. Like, I'm not sure what's up with it, but this island was basically making like freak show dinosaurs. They were like crossbreeding them with stuff. And it brings obviously, that whole theme of ethical and whatnot. I mean, to begin with, right? I mean, look what the movie's about. But that was like a whole other layer to it. So yeah, this one dinosaur, I was like, no. Like the big bad dinosaur at the end. So that part was like, okay, we need to be very careful how deep we go into this. Now there's nods throughout the movie, to the previous ones. And I enjoyed that aspect of it, okay? Now, like I said too, I literally thought this was going to be like completely different, completely just whatever. And it is in a sense, but the formula is there, okay? We have the gas station ambush. We have the raptor stuff going on. We have the villain that's going to get killed. You can basically pick out, you already know who's going to get killed in this movie when you learn the characters, right? You can see it. And in fact, I would say in this movie, they're very lenient with who survives. They were very generous, because there's times I'm like, surely this person's going to die. I'm actually going to be shocked, and they didn't, right? So that part I was like, Now again, what they've done in this one is they've tried to, in my opinion, they sat here and were basically like, look, these kids have grown up, the grandfather's gone, like, we have to kind of reinvent this. So they bring in a sister and her little sister and the sister's boyfriend, and they try and just reinvent the roles, but they're filling a slot. You see what I'm saying? Does it work? Yes. Again, do we get attached to these characters to where we'll probably see them again? No, not really. Like the ones that I would think we might possibly see, which would be the kids and stuff, I was literally like, I'm sorry, we really didn't get to know them that well. Okay. It is what it is. They did great jobs in the movie. They, moved the plot line along, but it was just one of those things where I would be shocked if we saw them again. Now, the people who I do think we could possibly see again were the 3 main actors and actresses carrying the film. You have the new scientists. You could see how they all fit in, right? You saw who Scarlett Johansson was replacing. You saw all kind of happen. But at the end of the day, regardless of what takes place, whatever, for me personally, and again, I've seen the original one, and those original ones, period, end of story, I've seen them hundreds of times, okay? You're talking major nostalgia for me. When these movies come out, I am going to the theater to escape reality, to escape real life. I want to see big dinosaurs. I want to go on an adventure, and I want to feel adrenaline, and I want to just leave my world for a couple of hours. And this movie does it. It gives me goosebumps. They still are able to do that. They still have that sense that these movies give me of hope, where you're just like, anything is possible. And that moment where you can feel through the actors of like what it's like, the enormity, the gravity of touching a dinosaur. They are able to capture that, and they're able to capture fear and all that kind of stuff. So again, this movie for me, 10 out of 10. Did it make me put my phone down? Phone was down the whole time, okay? I don't even know if I went to the bathroom for this one, because it was so much like once it went, you knew some stuff was gonna pop off, right? So that's big for me, not to be on the phone or in the bathroom place, right? So yeah, absolutely go see it. If you have seen it, I'm dying to hear what your thoughts are below. So drop them off down in the comment section below. Let me know if there's any other movies you do want me to review or go see or talk about or whatever. And until we gather around the old proverbial television again, I'll see y'all soon.